Hello everyone, it's Joe here again. Another chat from the road. This time the car isn't running, don't worry. But I want to talk to you about something very important. And this might sound a little bit inside baseball talk, meaning I'm going to talk about teaching. So often, of course, I post videos about learning because I try to direct these videos at those who are struggling with learning, those who are struggling with connecting to the information they're trying to um, assimilate, apply, play with. Uh, but today I'm going to come from the perspective of the teacher. And the reason why I'm putting this video out there is twofold. One, I know there's music teachers out there watching these videos. Number two, I do believe that students should be in on the joke. What I mean by that is that it shouldn't feel like a mystery how I'm successful or unsuccessful at teaching you something. When I am successful, it should be obvious as to why I achieved that because, and this is very important, are you ready for this? I want you to teach yourself that way. Because if we crack the code as to how you learn, why on earth would you need me to teach you how to learn again and again and again? I say this to all my students. My job is to make myself disposable as quickly as possible. Now, that means that my agenda is to equip you with the skills to learn. Okay, so let's get into the teaching skills. Yes? The number one problem with most well-intentioned teachers, so let's exclude all the crappy teachers, okay? Excuse my language, but let's exclude all of them. Let's just look at the teachers who want to do a great job, okay? What is the number one problem? They are teaching their past selves. In my second book, Hidden Teachings, which is yet to be published because I've been busy publishing kids' books, as you might have noticed. But in my second book, that will come out eventually at some point during my lifetime, there's one chapter that is entitled Stop Teaching Your Past Self. So let's talk about this. The concept is, you know how you learn. You assume that that's just a way that works, therefore you teach people to learn that way as well. And when it doesn't work, what happens is that you assume that either the student is struggling to learn the material or you're a bad teacher. Now, even if the latter is correct, that does not mean you're a bad person. So let's separate those two, by the way. But you are being a bad teacher. The good news is that if you're questioning that, that makes you lesser bad because you are actually worried about improving. So kudos to you. 5 points. Now let's fix the problem. If the problem is you're teaching your past self, that means you're not examining precisely how that student learns. My advice is stop teaching, start asking questions, allow the student to navigate the lesson themselves, and all you do is establish the boundaries within which the exploration should happen so we don't go off topic. We are still trying to achieve something, so those boundaries are necessary. You no longer need to pull on that leash. In fact, if anything, you're just holding hands and walking along. It's a nice little stroll down learning lane. That was poetic. Now, that is very difficult because if you think about your upbringing as a student, and I'm talking to you, the teacher, you will realize that there were teachers that didn't connect to you. But maybe you assumed that the problem was you. It wasn't. Yes, we're not wired to learn all subjects equally or with the same amount of ease, but the reality is that we know that there are learning styles for a reason. Now, I'm going to make another video on those learning styles because I want to bust a couple of myths around that stuff. But for the time being, teachers, stop teaching your past self. If it's not working, it's not them, it's you. You need to be the one who's flexible, not your students. Your students are still they are a raw diamond, right? And as you apply pressure to turn them into a beautiful, shiny diamond, you're the one who needs to be flexible and work around the edges of that, for now, rock. It's a beautiful rock and it's going to be a beautiful diamond. But we can't just hammer down because it will destroy the diamond. Get it? Controlled pressure. And it is your job to keep looking at what is the best point of entry for you to communicate with this person. Know more about them. Share relatable stories, but don't make it about you. Ask more questions than what you plan to. Always more. I'm a big believer in the Socratic system, which is based on this approach, which is inquisitive, questions first, answers later. I'm going to try to keep this short, so I'm going to summarize with this. Today, reflect upon how well you know your students. Reflect upon how well you know how they learn. And hey, don't be scared of asking the question, how would you like me to approach this? And if they give you the answer, I don't know, because they might be deflecting based on the idea that you should know, so why would I know? That's okay. You just validate that and you say, I know you don't know. But if you knew, what would you say? Give it a go.